Hi, everyone, and welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. This is me, Oberon, with my outlook on the emotional exchanges. And it's a weekly program where I give each zodiac sign a little bit about what their emotional situations may be in the week ahead. So this will be for the week beginning today, Friday, the 9th of January, until next Thursday. That's the 15th. I think I got that right. And I'm using the Modern Love Tarot. Probably can't see that very well. By Ethony. I'm going to open, of course, with a short card for the collective from the Universal Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. Beautiful, soulful art. Spiritual growth. Okay, so I need the book. Take heart. This is a time of great spiritual growth. Powerful changes are taking place within you. It is important that you nurture yourself. Spend time in nature. Gaze at the stars at night, or walk along a sandy beach. You will emerge from this period with renewed understanding. Pools of knowledge swell from within. And once again, that was from Tony Carmine Salerno's Universal Love Oracle. So that's the card for the collective. And as I mentioned before, I'm using the Modern Love Tarot. There's a better picture of it by Ethony. Art is by Lucy Morningstar. And it's usually my regular deck, but recently I've diverted to a couple of other nice decks to use for the emotional exchanges. All right, so as I mentioned, these are for the signs of the zodiac, and I'm going to toss several cards. The first two explain the emotional nature of the week, the vibe. The second one is more or less the emotional challenge. I had to think about that for a minute because I have recently revised this reading. And then the third or other cards relate to maybe coming towards you emotionally or for emotional reasons, and what those might possibly be. All right, so Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What is the emotional vibration for the week? It's the Seven of Cups. You have options, emotionally speaking. There's a lot of things that you can decide to do with what you care about or what you love. This could pertain to dating, of course, but it could also just pertain to other kinds of situations that bring happiness or emotional joy into your life, whether or not it's about, a particular bonding or coupling with anybody or some sort of partnership. So, what is the emotional challenge? It is the Star reversed. And the Star reverse says maybe there's a lack of feeling like anything really inspires you with all of this. Maybe you feel like you have these choices, but nothing really seems to pull at you strongest. And you wonder if maybe, there's something, dreary going on in your life or how you feel about your life. Um, so who may be coming towards you emotionally? It's the reversed Knight of Cups. So it may be somebody that you have a strong emotional connection with, but it's possible that they're actually moving away from you. They might be a water sign, but maybe something's pulling them in another direction. And it could be this Ace of Wands. They may be feeling like the friendship has sort of uh, changed in some way, or it's not yielding certain results for them. They're disappointed, I think, that reverse Knight of Cups energy. So I don't think it's like an argument or anything, but maybe somebody who's just sort of moving away from your life. All right, we're going to do Taurus, then Sun, Moon, or Rising. So what is the vibration or energy of this week, Taurus? It's the reverse Nine of Swords. Uh, you may be feeling like a number of situations you've been wondering about, worried about, that some of that may have been you have concluded that it's not so much that it was in your head, but that maybe it was just sort of also in other people's heads too. And so maybe what you're dealing with is an aftermath of people being highly anxious in some way. And emotionally, it may have affected you more than you realize, but at some point you realize you sort of had to indicate some boundaries with somebody. Now, what is the challenge of the week? It's the reverse Two of Cups. And so this whole thing may have resulted in some sense of not being able to trust somebody in a relationship you're in. It may not be your primary relationship, of course. It's probably more likely another relationship, but you sort of feel this situation strained credibility in certain ways, or that you could have felt emotionally manipulated. So who is it that may be coming towards you? And it's the reversed Queen of Pentacles. So it could be an earth sign. Um, Somebody who's needy, somebody who needs to take care of herself or themselves, uh, or or is good at doing that, is sort of good at reinventing themselves or figuring out how to take care of themselves. I mean, maybe it's somebody who's coming to you for that reason, but the reason is also indicating the Tower reversed. And the Tower reversed is situations that maybe we should have learned from, but we didn't learn, certain lessons that we didn't heed. So this person is coming to you perhaps because of that uncoupling of a relationship, and that maybe they're saying, you, Taurus, haven't learned from this pattern in the past, maybe with certain relationships. And so if that's not another person or that queen, it could be yourself saying, hey, because it is an earth sign, Taurus, Queen of Pentacles. So it could be saying, take care of yourself and learn something from this. This is something that maybe you should learn from. I'm not trying to be mean to you, Taurus. As a Scorpio, you're my dark twin, so I kind of care about you. Come on. All right, we're going to move on to Gemini then. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Gemini. Gemini, what kind of vibration will you experience this week? What is the emotional energy around you? And it's the Knight of Wands. So there's kind of a sense of checking something out. There's kind of a sense of like maneuvering, getting into position. It's not necessarily very assertive or very aggressive, but it could be a little bit. Somebody who definitely, maybe feels that they need to come across to somebody. I mean, this is also about friendships or enterprises too. Uh, the knight could be yourself, whether male or female. The energy really is about advancement and movement. So the vibration is kind of like you're moving towards some sort of circle of friendship or influence. So what is the challenge, emotionally speaking, for the week? And the challenge is the sun, and it's upright. So the challenge really, I think, is for you to find really some sense of happiness in that, but there may be certain wisdom or knowledge you may gain from this process of getting to know somebody or get involved with, networking of a certain sort. Uh, and it's all good. Who is it that may be coming towards you, Gemini? Oh dear, they're taking their time, aren't they? And it's a younger person, perhaps. Or somebody youthful. It's a Page of Wands, but they're reversed. So the person coming towards you may have a message or may be trying to give you maybe a negative message even. I mean, maybe they are disinviting you or disincluding you from something, or maybe they're bringing you news you don't really want to hear. They could be a fire sign, but they're probably a younger person. They could be male or female. Um, if they're not like a young person, 20 or under, 21 or under, they might be somebody who is sort of, youthful in mind, always seems to act immature in a way. Why are they coming towards you? Well, maybe it's about some sense of control. And of course, they may be an agent of somebody who is the emperor. Um, but the emperor usually means aspirations of control or management. Um, so it's also a lot of too about how somebody uses and positions and takes advantage of their resources, whether they're human resources or other resources, hence the chessboard there in the background. So I don't know. Gemini, it almost looks too complicated for me to think. I mean, maybe, somebody's telling you that you yourself, are moving into something more calculating in a way with the sun, more about advancement of yourself in a lot of personal ways. I don't know. So I guess that actually kind of sounds cool. It doesn't sound emotionally interesting unless maybe, you really, Gemini, this really is what, gets you going. Hey, I got to move on. We're on Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And Taurus, not Taurus. Why did I say that? We're on Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What is the emotional vibe or energy, Cancer? It's about balance. It's the Two of Pentacles. Um, you may be finding really that from an emotional point of view, there's a lot of things that you have to really figure out how to balance. There may be just different poles for all the normal reasons in your life. And so emotionally speaking, you're kind of like kind of holding things at bay in a way. What is your challenge, emotionally speaking? It's the reversed. Yeah, King of Cups. And so your challenge is to not be too hard about it. The King of Cups reverse could be a person who emotionally can be a little ill-tempered at times, and maybe, they take it out on other people, or they're a little bit ogreish at times. So don't be that. Kind of hold on to your Cancer, emotions. So who's coming towards you? And it's the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is a mature woman. Could be of any age though, but they're a very mature person. And in the sense of the swords, they're kind of driven. They feel like they have something important to decide or do that maybe involves you. So maybe, there's an involvement of some big decision. But why are they actually coming towards you? And it's another court card. It's the Page of Pentacles. So it's possible that you have a mutual concern with a younger person or a younger minded person. But the Page of Pentacles could also represent, in a way, the quest for knowledge, a scholarly, open-minded, objective personality. So maybe this queen really wants you to open your mind up about something. And maybe, that's also represented by that King of Cups that could be saying, really, like, there's more to life than just yourself. You might, Cancer, have to really, look beyond. All right, so I'm going to move on to Leo then. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Leo. How's it going, Leo? Leo, what is the vibration or emotional energy of the week? And it's the King of Wands. So Leos, you're feeling, this is a very Leo card, the King of Wands, but you're feeling really very sure about your potential to achieve something, possibly emotionally speaking. So for single people, this could be moving to, an actual committed relationship, or the celebration of a relationship if you actually already are in one. But the King of Wands has such a fiery energy. It's about maybe, somebody who's considering impending parenthood in a way. There's a lot of happiness, but there's also really a lot of energy maybe that concerns noble objectives, good objectives. So raising a child. So what is the emotional challenge? The emotional challenge is the Five of Pentacles, is to not isolate yourself, perhaps, or to not feel like you're not part of a greater mix. Maybe there's something about that first card that is sort of pulling you away from other people. I'm not sure what it is if they don't, share your view of success there or whatever that is. But maybe you're doing it to yourself. So watch that. Don't necessarily isolate yourself. Don't forget that besides your own objectives, there are others. Who's coming towards you? It's, at last, the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is upright. So somebody is actually really moving towards you. They're very assertive and possibly aggressive. They're but they're task oriented. They have a real need for speed because they're trying to accomplish something, and they're not necessarily a haste makes waste person, but they do need to have a sense of discipline. This could be an aspect of yourself, but why forever is this person coming to you? And by the way, they could be an air sign, so Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Maybe they are coming to you because they feel you have common cause in some way, that you're about standing up for an emotional principle or emotional fact or situation, that either they want to help you with that, or that they really want to notice that, or they really want to, take stock of that. I don't know. I mean, are they a helper? Maybe. Are they the other person in that scene? Not necessarily. So what else? Maybe they're coming to you to say that, sometimes some of your goals do make you have to isolate yourself, but also stand up for yourself too. That sounds like a weird emotional paradox. I'm not exactly sure what I think about all that. You probably are too. All right, so we will move on to Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Virgo. Virgo, what is the vibration, emotionally speaking, of the week? It's the reverse Queen of Pentacles. You're feeling like you really need to take care of yourself emotionally. A lot of self-care is indicated by this card. It's possible that it means other people that fall under, your purview, your own relationships, that you really want to kind of maybe, have some chill moments, hunker down moments, uh, appreciation for each other on the emotional level. What is your challenge for the week? It's the moon. It's upright. Your challenge may be to understand something pretty deep emotionally that maybe isn't, it's not that it's hidden, but it's not something you're going to find easily. So it may be what this is about really too, is just like taking care of yourself, Virgo, and realizing that what maybe you didn't understand about a depth of emotionality, a relationship or situation is real. Who's coming towards you? And I have the Page of Wands, only they're upright. It could be a young person who's a fire sign, so Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries. They may have a message, or they may have something really important to kind of tell you about, or invite you to, or get you involved in. Excuse me. And it's the Two of Wands. It's upright. Maybe they're trying to get you to move into a new area, a new discovery. It might be about influencing you in a certain way that maybe makes sense. That I don't know that it's a relationship, but it might be like a friendship that maybe has some really uh, youthful and inquisitive things about it. And it seems to be opening up for you an idea about where you really could go, or where you might be interested in going. So that's Virgo. And we'll move on to Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Libra. Libra. Oh, my arthritis seems to be kicking in. My fingers and thumbs aren't handling the shuffling so well today. It's kind of nice though. Weather-wise, we kind of perked up. We're a little bit warmer. We're not as cold as we were. Not as windy. Okay, so Libra, what is the vibration or energy going on around you for this week? And it's the devil reversed. So you're freeing yourself from something that was really oppressive. At the very least, it could have been, like a bill, you paid off a bill, but this is really about emotional stuff, emotional challenges, not challenges, but emotional situations. And maybe there was a breakup or a big change in a relationship. Uh, for some Libra, perhaps you felt like you were in a partnership or a relationship of any sort, a friendship, where the power dynamic seemed to put you as the underdog in a way. And this maybe indicates that you're changing that, or that's what that vibration is about this week. You're finding ways to get away from something that's really oppressive in your relationships, perhaps. What is your challenge? As if that wasn't enough, but it's the Nine of Cups. It's upright. So your challenge maybe is in moving on from that. Perhaps there's really a lot of happiness you can find for yourself, a lot of things you can do to pamper yourself or have joy for yourself. And it feels like maybe that's what it is like moving away from something that felt oppressive might really need some time for you to decompress. So don't be surprised if you hang out in the shower or go to the gym and work out to get rid of some of that tension that's going on. Now, who is coming towards you? I guess I shall feel good sometimes. And it's the King of Pentacles upright. So it could be a mature man, maybe they're late 30s or beyond, and they really have something to do with maybe managing or controlling or uh, fortifying somehow, creating safety, things like that. They have an edge to the more material matter of your life, even if it considers the emotional aspects related to that. Why are they coming to you? It's the Magician. It could be that they feel like if you're moving away from something, you really have a chance now to express your will and your creativity to maybe do something that really is powerful. So it may feel, Libras, like you're moving out of one situation that kind of limited you, and somebody maybe is helping you find a way to move into something that really could be progressive for you or a better use of your talents. All right, Libra. So I will move on to Scorpio then, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And of course, Scorpio is my own sign. So I'm always curious what I might come up with there. Scorpio, what is the vibration for the week? It's the reverse Nine of Pentacles. The vibration for the week is maybe you have to find a way to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Maybe you've been kind of holding yourself back a little bit from engagement. You've had a lot of things to enjoy and do in your life, and you haven't necessarily felt like you needed something else, but maybe that's going to change, or maybe you've been thinking that should change and that, you need to kind of get out there a little bit. in some way. I mean, that could just mean creating more of an online presence even, but it's about where you feel comfortable. So if you haven't felt comfortable with that, maybe you're gonna. Now, what is the challenge for the week, emotionally speaking? And it's the Empress. So, Scorpio, you have a strong need to create, perhaps, or to find a way to make something really uh, creative and productive, and there's a lot of care stuff going on too with it, to nurturance, things like that. That's what the challenge is figuring out how you can do that and yet still maybe retain this idea here that you're dealing with not exactly feeling comfortable with all of that. Who's coming towards you? It's the reverse Knight of Wands. So the reverse Knight of Wands, their energy could be a little chaotic. They may be rushing where they shouldn't, or they may have some esteem issues too. So they may be using some of this stuff to cover up, their own esteem questions. They're probably a fire sign, so the esteem stuff sounds weird. Maybe they're just in a weird moment right now, but a fire sign is Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. Why are they coming towards you, or for what reason could that be? And it's the reversed Queen of Swords. Maybe they're trying to get in on some of this, your productive or creative cycle. But also, too, they might be pressuring you to make a decision, or they might be offering you a decision that you really realize is not a great decision. It might commit you to things you don't want to be committed to, and some of them might be being, more assertive or aggressive personality in certain respects. I'm not sure exactly where it leads from the emotional situations, so maybe a separate thing. I'll move on now to Sagittarius. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, what kind of vibration of emotionality comes to you this week? And it's the Hierophant reversed. Sagittarius, you may be feeling like you have to really change things a lot and maybe break some rules. Uh, this could also be bad about a relationship if there was, something, going on that maybe involved a significant bonding of some sort. Maybe there's something happening with that is not good. Or maybe it's certainly having some wobbly times. There's a sense that maybe Sagittarius, you want something unconventional solution to happen. What is the challenge for the week? It's the Knight of Cups. So the challenge could be seeing yourself moving away from an emotional relationship, or seeing yourself having problems in that area. You may be feeling like maybe that person's moving away from you, or that you seem to have a change within yourself one way or the other about this person or situation. And again, it may not be a primary relationship. I mean, it looks a little bit emotionally strong, but it could be a really strong friendship. Now, who may be coming towards you? Sagittarius. The Knight of Pentacles. So it's a young person, a young man, or maybe it's a woman. Of course, it looks like a woman there. But the Knight of Pentacles is upright. It's kind of like an earth personality. So it's Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. And they may have a long distance view of moving towards you in some sort of familiar or family or relationship of some sort. Why is that? It's the Ten of Pentacles. So this person, Sagittarius, may be feeling like there's a family connection somehow between you and them, or they may be feeling like you're adjacent in some way. They're maybe looking for you to help them with foundational issues or family issues or things that relate to a continuity for a group. That's what I got. All right, I'll move from that to Capricorn. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Capricorn. What, Capricorn, is the vibration or energy of the week? It's the reversed King of Cups. So there's some crankiness going on, emotionally speaking. You're either fed up with somebody or somebody's fed up with you, or you're feeling like, you need time and distance away from this person, or you don't feel like being very helpful towards them, or it's somebody who doesn't want to feel helpful towards you. And it has a big impact for some reason. Now, what is the challenge? And the challenge is the Page of Pentacles, and they're upright. The challenge is realizing that there may be some other answer here, some other wisdom or information that's not known, and that you may need to figure this out. So you may be moving towards trying to figure out what's causing that, or what's there. It just may be some kind of status quo change, and you need to figure out how to shift that again. Who or what is coming towards you? And it's the Queen of Wands, and they're upright. And the Queen of Wands is a very dynamic person or energy. They could most likely be a woman who's just a woman at any age. So it's a mature woman, or it's a younger woman, or anywhere in between. They could be a fire sign: Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. They're very brave and possibly flirtatious and very forward. Their energy projects the idea that if they're moving towards you, they're transactional on some level. There's something they want, and there's something that they want to approach you about. What could that be? Whoa. They're moving towards you because it's about moving towards you. So this signifies, even if it's not necessarily a fire sign or gender-wise we're off, somebody who really is moving towards you, and it's about the moving towards you. So it does indicate a friendship of some note, or a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, this potential could be coming to you, Capricorn. I'm not sure what else it means. The Chariot really talks about being motivated to push ahead. If this person is coming towards you, they have a lot of interest in creating or furthering a relationship with you. So that's what I have. Capricorn. And we'll move on to Aquarius then. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Aquarius, what's the vibration? What's the energy of this week for you? It's the reverse Ten of Pentacles. So there could be a little bit of shiftiness going on in a family or group situation, things not feeling secure for some reason, or feeling like if you were emotionally dependent on them, you may not be as much this week. There's something going on there that maybe is just shifting the dynamic a little bit. It could be post-holiday blues. I'm not sure, but it just feels, Aquarius, like you're not very connected, or you're not feeling like there's a lot of worth there. What's your challenge for the week? Your challenge maybe is to reinvigorate some of that. The Hierophant talks about maybe, conformity and tradition. So if that was what was at stake with a family or a group, then maybe that's your challenge then, is to try to figure out how to pull things back together on some level, at least protocol. The Hierophant could stand for like maybe a more sense of conservatism, but it really is also just about protocol and following systemic thinking of some sort. So maybe that's just the challenge in general, is that emotionally speaking, you have to, work with a process. What or who is coming towards you? It's the Page of Swords, upright. And boy, that's a little devilish grin and somebody with a pirate insignia there. So the Page of Swords is moving towards you, and maybe they're a little bit devilish, but generally speaking, they have a gift for dance or articulation or something like that. Their movement and their sense of articulation maybe is influential. Why are they coming towards you? They want to tell you or present with you other options um, that may be going on. And of course, that could be in relationship to the first card, that if you're feeling like, you're not close to your group anymore or your family, maybe there are other options for you, emotionally speaking, or that the page is telling you, you have those and you just, haven't made that choice yet, because that too is the Seven of Cups. All right, Aquarius, good luck with that. And now, last but not least, is Pisces. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Good old Pisces. What will be your vibe, your challenge? We'll give them one more. Do it. So the vibe is energized in a way. It's movement. It's the Knight of Wands. There seems to be, emotionally speaking, a goal of some sort for Pisces. It could be about a person, but it could also just be about something emotionally satisfying or beneficial for you. And you want to move towards that. What is your challenge? The challenge of the week, emotionally speaking, is finding this, but also achieving it. The Ace of Swords is about achievements. It's about conquerings or uh, attaining something, attaining something. So from an emotional point of view, maybe you really have strong feelings about what this particular thing is, whether it's a person you want to move towards, like the Knight, or whether it's a situation that you want to move towards and really, own it in some respect. Pisces, who is coming towards you? And it's that little Page of Swords again. So maybe somebody coming forward to you and they have a sense of allure, influence, they're an air sign and maybe they're a little bit immature or they are a young person. But why are they coming towards you? Okay, so if they're an immature person, this makes sense, because it could be Pisces, that there's a little bit of, competition or conflict going on in a relationship. That's the Five of Wands. So the page could be the young person coming along or the immature person in this relationship and sort of saying like, I have more going on than you do. It is a little bit bold there. But it could also be saying this could be about something outside of your own sense of relationships. Maybe this is just talking about uh, something else. It could be, a strong friendship of some sort that isn't exactly your paired relationship. So a little bit of wiggle room on that one. So I'll just have to let that go with that and say that there could be some contention going on in your or a friend's relationship. So that was my emotional exchanges for the week, and I'm very glad you were able to join me. Drop me a line sometime. Let me know what you think of these readings. You can leave the comment here on YouTube, or you can also write us at our Gmail, which is TFT Tarot for Today. That's one word, TFT Tarot for Today at gmail.com. And of course, tomorrow will be the happy hour, and it will be at 10 o'clock a.m. Later in the day, tomorrow will be the unhappy hour. We're going to do it at 4 p.m. That one's recorded. That's not live like the happy hour. Happy hour is about giving a divine, uplifting message to whoever shows up in the chat room. Our later show, the unhappy hour, is a little bit more self-care therapeutic. It may be looking at what's going on with us in, our relationships or with our sense of the world, perhaps. We do a separate reading for the world. And then, how we can maybe turn that frown upside down. But Sunday brings Banshees, Material Matters at 10 a.m. We're live in the chat room for that recording, so come and join us. And then we're live again on Sunday afternoon, 2 to 4 p.m., our regular live stream. And that's it pretty much. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.